Alright, Dev here again. Welcome to part 4 of this tutorial. This part here we're going to put on the body. If I flick to an image here, we're going to do this whole sort of shape down here, including that little sort of indented bit down there. It's none too hard and should only take 5 minutes I hope, so I might pad out this video a little. Let's see how we go. Objects obviously want a cylinder. It's quite close to the shape we want. It's disappeared way in the middle of our dome. That's alright. The radius of this we want at 600, which is the same radius as our dome. For the height we want it roughly, if you look at an image, about twice the height of the dome, give or take. Looks about right. As you can see, I'm not really fussy. If we're doing this by eye, I can show you how to do that. Grab our selection tool and I'll select the point here, and on our dome we'll select this top point way up here. Let's deselect those other ones here so see exactly what I'm doing. Like that there. That gives us our highest and lowest points, giving us the total size, which you can see down the bottom in the size column at 724.933. Yours should be pretty close to that, give or take the extrude. So need to do is make our cylinder twice that height roughly, which is around 1400. 1400. Of course we want this rounded as well, so we'll increase the rotation segments to 96. It's the same as the sphere at the top. And for height segments we want some polygons to play with later, so I think roughly 16 should do us. And it's just a case of moving it into place. We're lucky we don't have to work too hard on this, because if we look at the 2 unit here, there's a slight gap in between, so we don't have to line everything up exactly. We just need it close. About there, that gives us a little gap. Obviously if we were to leave it like that, it would look a bit rubbish when you read it out. So what we're going to do is actually fill up that gap there. We're going to put another cylinder inside our model. Object, primitive cylinder. I want to change the radius of this to about 550 and the height to around 60. This is only going to go sit in the middle here, and that'll fill up that gap there. So if we rotate our camera around, we wouldn't be able to see anything else. The only problem we do have is if we rotated right down at some angles, you could see up inside the dome, so we probably should close that at some stage. We'll do that now. Just turn off your cylinders, just click those little buttons there, and we'll select our dome. And the easiest way to close this, you can create all your polygons manually, but there's no real point, so you can just close polygon hole tools here and that'll work just as well. Get it so it highlights there like that, and click, and have a look there. That's closed up that hole nicely. It's got those cylinders there, and let's have a look from the side. That's looking good. We've got a small hole there. Only thing we could do to bring that out a bit more is put a material on our cylinder that sits on the inside as the neck. Should be the top one. It is. I'll rename that to neck gap. You can call it anything you want as long as you know what it is. We'll put our black material on there that we use for our edging. And that neck gap can go as a child of the dome, so that's well out of the way. Won't need to see him for a while. In fact, we'll never need to touch that again, so you can completely forget about that. And we'll turn that cylinder on. And it looks good. Like that. To adjust this cylinder a bit, we need to get this nice sort of angled bottom on it. We'll need to make our cylinder editable, of course, so just hit C on your keyboard. And we'll jump into polygon mode, and with the live selection tool, I'm going to select all these polygons at the bottom here. And we'll delete that. And as you can see, it's deleted the whole cylinder again, the way Cinema 4D sometimes does. So just hold shift and click on your selection, and hit delete again. That's got rid of all those. Rotate around a bit to get back up to roughly vertical. Sorry, my hand's kind of running into my speakers at the moment, so that rotate was a bit funny and overly long. We'll make a selection around the bottom here, so loop select again, still in polygon mode. We want this bottom row of polygons there. To get the shape we want, we're going to extrude, not extrude, scale them in a bit. So just grab your scale tool and drag that in. You see it's working on the row above. We're actually working, so that's the row that will eventually form the bottom angle. That looks okay there. We'll just move it down a bit, put a bit of size on it. That looks good to me. Could probably do with being a touch smaller, so I'll scale it in a little bit further to about there. Hit delete, that'll get rid of those polygons at the bottom. And once again, just close your polygon hole. As you can see, just closing the polygon hole there has messed up our shading tags on our cylinder here. You can adjust them manually now, or you can do it later. All you have to do is click that little ball icon, it brings up your Fong tag, and we can set that down to about 40. Should fix that by the look of it. And there we go, it looks nice and rounded around there again. Right, we'll switch back to the front view now. That was all quick and painless. We'll just put in a little placeholder for the arms. If you look at the image, you can see the tube coming along here. Again, we'll use a cylinder for that, obviously. This object's a primitive cylinder. It's way in the middle there, but we'll soon see him. Let's have a look for a height. We need him to stick out beyond the width of this. I think 1400 should look about right. And of course he's on the wrong axis, so change that to the x-axis, which is the way we want it. If yours is on the z-axis, you've built yours around 90 degrees from mine. That's no biggie. It'll just, when I say z, you mean x, and so forth. For the height segments, 1 is fine. Rotation segments 36, we'll bump that up a bit. We'll double that to 72 round. And we need to increase the radius a bit. Try 150. Oh, that looks alright, I suppose. So we'll grab our move tool and we'll bring it down. That just sits about there. I actually like those to stick out a bit further, I think. So I'll change the height to 1500. That looks better. Alright, so next time we come back, we'll work on getting these arms in place and clipped on. And then it'll just be the feet, and we can go on to detailing and doing all the complicated little fiddly bits. Yeah, so this was nice, quick and simple. You should have been able to cope with that by now. And I'll see you on the next tutorial.